Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just got back from my workout and there were a couple things that I was thinking about, so I figured I'd make a video for you all to kind of share my thoughts on a topic that I think gets overlooked in the fitness industry. And I want to share my perspective because it probably branches off from what you may traditionally hear in the powerlifting circles. So, what I was thinking about was the topic of exercise rotation. So, you may have heard this, and I think it was made popular probably from the conjugate style of training, aka Westside barbell style of training. And that training style kind of preaches, oh, you have to rotate exercises so that your body is constantly having to adapt to slightly different variations, and that's how you're going to get stronger. And another phrase you hear thrown around is the idea of shocking the muscle, or what is it? Something along the lines of surprising the muscle. Muscle confusion, there it is. I couldn't even come up with the saying. But to be one that's kind of a funny saying in itself, because that's kind of making it sound like the muscle is some sort of autonomous being of its own, where it can think about and actually be confused by an exercise, where no, that's simply not true. But I was thinking about it today because I rotated to a new squat variation on my day one. So you probably see that training going on with this kind of overlaid, and you can see I switched to a buffalo style squat for training day one rather than my normal safety bar pause squats that I have been doing. And you all may be surprised to hear this if you follow me or not, but it has been a full 20 weeks since I have rotated exercises, right? So that means that I've been doing the same split of squat variation, bench variation, deadlift variation at all three of them and accessories for 20 weeks in a row, which is nearly 40% of an entire year. I have not changed an exercise once. Now, does that mean I've been doing the same weight and the same reps with those exercises? No, not at all. That changes every week. But my point here is I've had some amazing progress over these past 20 weeks. You know, I'm set up, I'm as strong as I've ever been, especially on squat. We're going to use that as my example here. But I'm set up to squat 800 pounds here in 8 weeks. And that progress has come from doing the same thing over and over and over again. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's contradictory to the idea that you need to switch it up. And here's my thought process on that conundrum. Now, keep in mind, I don't have a degree in exercise and sports science. I am certified to teach biology at the high school level, but my degree is in earth science and geography, and I have a teaching degree, right? So I'm basically just a bro who's been lifting for a long time. But I like to think about this stuff. And from my perspective, and I used to do this before I was coached by Bill, you hear that you should continue with an exercise until progress stalls. And you think that that stalling in progress kind of represents the your body stopping its adaptation to that exercise. So what I mean by that is I'll use my safety bar pause squats as an example that I've been doing. I may start at some arbitrary number, 525 pounds, and go up by a certain percentage, say 2.5% every week for 4 weeks. And that might lead me to around a 600 pound safety bar pause squat, 4 sets of whatever it may be. Let's call it sets of 4 because that's what I was doing earlier in my training program. At that point, that 600 pounds for sets of 4 may feel really heavy or sluggish. And my feedback to Bill, my coach, right, maybe, oh, I'm feeling really sluggish on safety bar pause squats. We may need to pull it back. Now, someone who is traditionally kind of trained in the mind of thinking, oh, we need to shock the muscle, confuse the muscle, you may have that leveling off feeling in an exercise after 4 weeks, but and think that that's the time to switch exercises. However, this is in my experience, my opinion, every time you switch exercises, you are having to reacclimate to that exercise. So if you've been watching this video next to me talking, you'll notice I look like a deer in the headlights trying to squat with this buffalo bar. And it's no surprise because I haven't squatted with that squat style in so long. It's taking my nervous system some time to adapt and get prepared to do this exercise again. Now, there can be a plus side to this. Usually you have like this stretch of almost newbie gains where every week you get better and better as your nervous system is adapting to the new exercise. But at the same time, that's almost like wasted time, in my opinion, if you do it too much. Because if you take 4 weeks and you start to level off, you may have another 4, 12, 16, or in this case with the safety squat bar, 20 weeks of progression that you could have milked out of that one exercise, and then you save the new exercise for so much longer. And that's back to the idea that powerlifting and the gym is a long game. People don't like to be patient, but what kind of happens is you might build up to that 600 pounds for 4, and then you have to take a quick deload or a taper week, but after you go back down to say 545, you've got another run of 3 or 4 weeks where you build up to 545, 560, 585, 600, and then you're beyond 615. And you're still getting stronger with that same exercise, building up that base. And then maybe the next time that you start to level off, it's with 615 pounds rather than the 600. And you could try that process again. And inevitably, you are going to plateau, and that's the time to pivot. But in my experience, people try and pivot way too fast. They're not patient with it. And if you think about it, if every 4 weeks you're trying to pivot to a new exercise, you're going to spend a week or 2 adapting to that exercise's form and getting used to it before you can even push that exercise, right? So you may only be getting 2 of those 4 weeks as like true great progress and strength, and then all of a sudden you're switching it. And another problem that comes along with that is you're eventually going to run out of exercises or have to loop back around to exercises. So overall, I know this has been a bit of a rant, but it's something to think about, because if you play the long game, and the name of the game here is linear progression, right? Progressive overload, slowly adding more weight or more reps to your back over time. That's the name of the game. That's how you're going to get stronger. Don't make it too fancy, okay? If you can, I'm someone who can literally be a robot. So I can do the same thing for 20 weeks in a row and be patient with it, because I see that vision in the future and that 800 pound, 825, 850 pound squat in the future. But I know that's what it takes to get there. So hopefully that gave you all some insight. That was just my daily training thoughts I wanted to share with you all, because I see it espoused a lot to mix up your training, and in my personal experience, mix it up a little bit more than one should. So hopefully that helped you all. I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far, please like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And until next time, happy lifting.